The kickoff event to the Eco Expo was an opening benefit party called 5 Cheers for the Environment. Cheers star Ted Danson gave his advice on how to make a difference.
If you want to make a difference, surround yourself with people who insist that you do. I think that's one of the smartest things I've ever done in my life, is to surround myself by bright people so that I have to catch up to them.
Steve Allen, Glenn Close, and Cheers star John Ratzenberger were some other guests at this star-studded evening. Dean Stockwell, Susan Anton, and Richard Mull presided over the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Cheers star Woody Harrelson shared how he recycles at home. Singer Olivia Newton-John was also happy to share how she recycles. The paparazzi were there to record this gala event. Richard Mull said, "Get mad about the ozone problem." Once inside, the crowds gawked at everything from battery-powered cars to an electric scooter. The fanfare and excitement with all the ecological products, booths, and exhibitors was undeniable for Southern California's green consumer. Hi, I'm Tony DeMarco. We're at the Eco Expo, and we have this fabulous exhibit of the EXR1 automobile, which is an electric-powered car. It's brought to you by Amictron. And we're going to meet Roger Ward, who's a 2-time winner of the Indy 500 races, and he's also representing the company. And we're going to meet Jack Daniels of Beverly Hills Business. So first of all, Roger, hello.
Tony, it's a real pleasure to be here, and obviously it's a delight to meet you.
Thank you. And Jack?
Likewise, I'm sure, Tony. Nice to meet you.
Roger, first of all, how did you become involved in this car? How did you get attracted to it?
Well, for a goodly number of years, I've been involved in promoting vintage autos races, and I was looking for people who might want to display a product. And I bumped into Mr. Ramirez and looked at his automobile, and I said, "Would you like to display that in my race at San Diego?" And he says, "Well, yeah." And I told him the price, and we agreed. And then I began to talk to him about the electric automobile, and I became fascinated with the fact that there is, in fact, a real electric car that'll do all the things that we'd all hoped about for years and years, and here it is. And Ed continued to talk to me, and finally I decided I just had to become involved, and it's been a real delight.
Well, what about the technology of the car? You being a 2-time Indy winner would know about cars.
Well, obviously, you think in terms of the performance. If you're a race driver, how does it perform? Well, the car does all the things I would want it to do. It goes 0 to 60 in 12 seconds. It'll run 85 miles an hour. And in fact, the car has been over 100 miles an hour. But we set it up to where the car will do the things that the average driver would want. 0 to 6 is important because now you want to be able to pass people. The important thing is that it will go 150 miles on like $1.60 worth of electricity. And that's a rather inexpensive way to drive around Los Angeles.
Now, what if you run out of your 150 miles? What do you do?
Well, actually, the car is designed for those people who drive back and forth to work, and at night they pull the plug out and plug it in, and the next morning it's charged enough to go another 150 miles. So actually, the car is built for those commuters that drive anything from 25 to 75, 100 miles a day. Or perhaps a little less, and you can use it for all of those things. Now, it's not a car designed to go from here to San Francisco. However, I think someday we will have the technology to do that. But we are building an automobile that people can use for their everyday driving, and it's a pleasure to drive this automobile. You don't give up any of the luxury. It has air conditioning, it has a heater, it has radio, it has a telephone, power steering, power brakes. So the car has everything that anybody would want, and still you're able to drive it for lots less money than it would cost to drive their gasoline car.
How much less?
Well, you can go 150 miles on $1.60 worth of electricity. But more importantly, an electric car does not require any service. Think about how much less it would cost you if you never had to tune the car up, if you never had to worry about the exhaust system and a very expensive catalytic converter. And of course, it's non-polluting. You don't have a radiator or 13 fan belts to turn various things. I mean, this motor in this car will go 500,000 miles before you have to tune it up. Maybe a set of brushes for a couple of $100.
Wow, I think I want one. Well, the next important question is, how much does this car cost?
Well, when we get into production, which will be in the area of about 15 months, this car will sell for $12,000.
That's all?
That's all. And if you look at it, you'd think it was a $50,000 or $60,000 car. But again, I say you don't have to give up luxury or looks to drive an electric car.
Well, speaking of looks, Jack has a couple of questions he wants to ask you.
Okay.
Roger, I find it extremely interesting that for 15 years this car has been out and around on the road and at various shows around the world. And then here in 1991, BMW now comes out with their newest design in 14 years, and it's your car. What about that?
Well, I wonder where they saw it or where their designers saw it. Obviously, when I saw that picture, I was shocked because I said, wait a minute, what's our car doing? And then I said, wait a minute, that says BMW. How did they get my car in a BMW ad? And I was just a little bit surprised. But obviously, if you look at this car, you realize how good looking it is. A lot of people might want to copy it, but this is our design. It was designed in 1977. Built 1978. It was tested at the Ontario Motor Speedway right here, well, in Ontario, in 1980 under government supervision. So I think we own the rights to this design.
There has been a track record then, and it's been established.
Absolutely, it has been established. And in fact, the car has undergone many, many miles of testing. This particular car that we're leaning against has 85,000 miles on it. So we think we know now what an electric car should and will do.
And Jack, do you have any more questions?
Only one. I understand the car has been DOT certified and passed with flying colors.
Well, that's correct. We did work hard and long with the Department of Transportation, and obviously one gentleman who we were talking to said, well, have you crash tested the car? I said, no, sir, we have not. And the primary reason is that you don't crash test prototypes. You crash test production cars. And the thing that we have done over the years is work very closely with the Department of Transportation, and every change that we've made in the automobile, we've cleared it with them and we've asked their advice. Well, does this work? Does that work? And we know that our automobile will, in fact, pass all of the laws and rules in regard to the Department of Transportation. It probably will be the safest car in the world. This car has a roll bar in it and has a lot of other features. The body will be acrylic Kevlar. Now that's a material they use to make bulletproof vests. It's lighter than aluminum, it's stronger than steel. How much safer can you get?
Well, I'm not worried about the safety. I think it's such a beautiful car. I just couldn't resist it because of the way it looks. But I have one other question about this electric car thing. What do you do when you need to plug it in? You just go plug it in somewhere?
Well, actually, yes, you do. In fact, the car comes equipped with its own battery charger. In other words, the charger is a part of the car. There is a little door in the back here that will, a reel, you just pull the cord out and plug it into your 110, and if the batteries are totally down, it would take 8 hours. If it's only part down, it wouldn't take as long. Now that's on 110. If you have 220 in your home, and most homes have 220 for the gas dryer or for an electric dryer, things like that, then it only takes 5 hours. So yes, all you do is pull the plug out and plug it into the wall, or you could do it if you come to work, you might have a plug at work, so you could plug it in there. So you can plug it in almost any place and charge the batteries.
Maybe in the future we'll be able to drive into a parking lot and plug in there and use our credit card.
Well, as a matter of fact, the Department of Water and Power has stated that if, in fact, people have electric cars and they want electricity run to some place where they can plug it in at work, they will do that. They have also stated that if you have an electric car and you charge it at night, they will reduce your electric bill by 50%.
Now that's a real bargain.
That would be a real bargain, you're right.
So I just have one more question. If you don't have any more, Jack, do you?
I think the car of the future is here today.
My question is, when can we buy this car? When do you expect it will actually be available for people to buy?
Well, we are actually programming to be in business and able to sell cars in about 15 months. It takes almost a year to complete the factory, and we're on the verge of completing arrangements to start the factory, and within a year we'll be in production. The factory will need about 500 employees. It'll produce 10,000 cars a year, and should create some good jobs for a lot of people.
I'll say. Is there any last-minute statement you'd like to make before we close?
Well, I am convinced that we have the first really great electric car. I think we have the most advanced electric car in the world today. And I include the companies, even General Motors. They have a great little car, but ours has been around for some 15 years and performing as well as theirs does today. So I think we have the most advanced electric car in the world today.
Thank you, Roger.
Real pleasure.
And thank you, Jack.
Thank you.